how to get stuff done. It's every parent's biggest struggle in life. Getting stuff done can be such a nightmare. Hi everyone, it's Ali here. How many people here have kids? And how many of you who have kids have experienced this? They don't want to get their shoes on in the morning, they don't want to get their clothes on, they get dressed but then they take their clothes off, they won't go out the door, you can't get them in the car, and you just spend so much time getting stuff done. The simple things like getting out the door in the morning, which are meant to be the simple things, but they're the hardest. And then the whole day is set on this trajectory of like, oh, I'm going to be late, I'm feeling frustrated, now I can't think straight, how am I going to focus at work, how are they going to focus at school? It's all like, this is the worst start to the day. Sound familiar? So I have worked for many years, for about 12 years, with children and parents and families who experience so many of these kinds of things. And this is common to all families. Children don't need to have any kind of additional needs to be not wanting to get ready in the morning or finding it difficult to get stuff done. So over all this time, I've come up with a very simple 3-step process to get your kids out the door in the morning and in the car on time. So here we go. The first step is all on you. It is nothing at all to do with your kids. Okay? It is all on you. I call it effective time-space switching. Okay? Effective time-space switching. And all it is replacing our idea on time and thinking about it as space. So let's break it down. What is time? We look at our clock or our phones these days and we see that it's 5 to 9 and we're like, school starts in 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes of time. But what is time? It's nothing tangible. It's not a thing. We developed time some time ago, a long time ago. We developed this idea of time and keeping a schedule and making watches and clocks so that we could manage our days in a structured way, so that we could work, we could do this, we could do that, we could spend the right amount of time on everything that needed to happen. So time is just a concept we developed and a concept that now, universally, we all stick to, okay? So time isn't an actual thing. It's a concept that we work to. Stop thinking about we only have 5 minutes of time, because it's not about time, it's about space. Think about it as we have 5 minutes of space to get this done. We have 5 minutes of space before school starts. Now, when you think of space, you automatically think of the potential, time. The idea of time is limiting to us. When we say, I've only got 5 minutes of time, or we've only got 5 minutes, we think of it as time. When we think of it as time, we think of something that's limited. We only have 5 minutes. It's limiting. But when we think about it as space, when we think of 5 minutes of space, we automatically think of the potential that we have to create the best possible mood or environment for this job to take place in. So, effective time-space switching. Switch it in your head. It's not 5 minutes of time, it's 5 minutes of space. When you think of it like that, step 2 is almost the obvious thing. You're automatically going to do it. Step 2 is creating calm. Now, when you think of, we've got 5 minutes of space to get in the car, the first thing you're going to do is create calm so that it can happen. Nothing happens when everyone is worked up. And when you think, we got 5 minutes of time before school starts, you're already like, get in the car, get in the car. Why won't you just get in the car? Put your shoes on. And it's all downhill from there. That is not calm. Nothing is going to work when no one is calm. The first thing that's very important is to manage the sensory environment, because when there's too much sensory stimulus around us, all coming to our brains, the brain gets overloaded with all this sensory, All the colours, all the flashing lights, all the noises, all the things, all the sounds, all the smells, too much stuff all coming at the brain, and the brain starts to freak out and it does not stay calm then. It goes into anxiety. It does not like that. And this is all brains. This isn't just children with sensory processing disorder or ADHD or ASD or any of the things that we think of as people who are more likely to be sensory overloaded. This is everyone. Brains don't like that shit. They do not want a gazillion things coming at it that makes it have to work in overdrive to sort all these messages out. So reduce the sensory environment. That means maybe don't listen to the radio when you're in the car, because the radio is just, it's got ads, it's got jingles, it's got voices that change, like different people talking over each other, laughing, goes to a song, goes to an ad break. It's hectic. There's a lot of sensory information there. Even if you and your child aren't really engaged in listening to it, it's still happening. And that means the brain is still getting the messages that it's going, and the brain is still trying to process all of that. It might mean change the toys that are in the car. If your kid's got like a little flashing computer that is used as a bit of a reward, if you get in the car, you can play your thing, maybe try and swap that for something like a book that encourages them to just focus on one thing, like look at a picture. I don't know. That's up to you to choose what works for you and your family. It might be that you try and get rid of all that stuff that lives on the floor of the car, get that out of the way, because that's all just visual sensory hecticness. And that's going to make everybody feel sensory overloaded before the day's even begun. Put the radio down, put the volume down a bit, use softer voices. Think of ways that you can reduce the sensory information that is in the environment that you need to get this thing done. In this case, it's in the car or getting in the car. Okay? Entrainment is a really big one. Now, this refers to two external things matching. Okay? So, we can entrain your child's mood by something really awesome and really easy, which is a 60 to 80 beats per minute piece of music or drumming loop or rhythm. 60 to 80 beats per minute is the resting heart rate. Now, we know that the brain entrains to music. If you didn't know that already, you do now. The brain loves music, and when you play music that's at the resting heart rate, often your breathing, respiratory rate will slow down and fall in time with the music, and your heartbeat. And when that happens, when it falls in time with a piece of music that is 60 to 80 beats per minute, it starts automatically going at the resting heart rate, the ideal resting heart rate, which helps create calm inside the body. This is really important. So think about the music that you were playing in the car, or if you've got music going in the house while you're getting ready for school, even better, because it gets them in that calm space before you're even trying to get out the door. And I'm going to throw some recordings actually down here under this video that are the ideal resting heart rate, so you can just like download them and put them on a playlist on your phone or something. And then they're there for whenever you need to try and create calm. Entrainment is what that's called. Distract. Distracting is really efficient. It's not a lifelong cure, but it's a Band-Aid, and sometimes a Band-Aid's important. So distract. One great way to distract children is by having a little pot of bubbles in your bag, because there ain't no one alive who doesn't like watching bubbles and who doesn't get distracted by watching bubbles. It's just like this human phenomenal thing. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, we are all going to respond to bubbles. Oh, bubbles. Validate. It's really, really important to validate your children with whatever it is they're carrying on about in that moment. So you've got 5 minutes of space to get out the door and into the car and on the way to school. But they might be devastated because the button is hanging off the dress. The cotton is loose, okay? Now, you might need to validate that to them for like a full minute. You might need to sit on the floor with them and validate their emotion surrounding this loose thread. To them, it's serious. And you might need to spend a full minute on this. And a minute, when you've only got 5 minutes, feels like an hour. We don't want to do that. What we're inclined to do is go, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a thread. Come on, let's go, we're running out of time. But when you validate what they're upset about and give the space that it needs to be validated so they really feel that you are appreciating their need right now, then the next thing is going to happen easier because you've created calm. You've validated their need, which keeps them in that place of calm. So don't be inclined to rush through these things. It's not time anymore. You don't need to rush. It's space. You need to create the right atmosphere. And that includes validating their needs. The way you use your voice is really important. There's this thing called motherese. We do it automatically with really cute kittens and puppies and babies. We raise the pitch of our voice a little bit and we make our voice very whispery and gentle and maternal, and we speak in shortened phrases, and we say the same thing over and over. We soothe, we reassure. We say, come on guys, let's go, come on. We don't do a big spiel about why we have to get there, why we're in a rush, what's going to happen if it doesn't work, if I don't get to work on time, or if you don't get to school on time, blah, blah, blah. Too many words. Use motherese. When you speak to them in that voice that I'm doing right now, which can really sometimes be very annoying and it's very, very difficult to do when you're feeling rushed, you are going to maintain the sense of calm, and they're not going to feel rushed if you aren't speaking to them in a rushed, stern voice. So voice is seriously important. And then there's different ways that you can use musical techniques to create calm. So my background is I'm a neurologic music therapist. So I always bang on heaps and heaps about the importance of rhythm, repetition, and simple melody. Now I know that the brain loves all of those things. And when you give the brain things it loves, it rewards you. It gives you dopamine. Dopamine is a reward. So if you play something to the brain that it likes, like simple melodic tunes, or something that's repetitious and rhythmic, like I love African drumming, or chanting, something that's over and over and over and simple, and it doesn't change tempo and it doesn't change volume, and your brain just gets to expect what's coming next, and it feels great. So it rewards you with dopamine and endorphins. And that makes you and your kids feel good. And when they feel good, they're more likely to just walk out the door and hop in the car. So giving the brain what it likes and giving the brain what helps it function at its best is always going to benefit every outcome that you're aiming for. And in this case, the outcome is that you're all in the car and you're on your way and everyone's happy. So they are my top picks for how to create calm. So go through it again. So step 1, effective time-space switching, done. That's up to you, not your child. Don't put it on them. That's happening in your head. Okay? Very important, because if you don't do that, the rest of the steps won't work. Second step, creating calm. I've given you a bunch of techniques there that you can use. You don't have to use them all. Pick things that work for you and pick ways of implementing them that work for you. Step 3, intervene or abort. Now, intervene is generally our go-to. So when we're in this situation where we're trying to get out the door, all hell is breaking loose, we don't think about step 1 and step 2. We go straight to intervening. We pick them up, we march out the door, we put them in the car, we do up the belt, everyone's screaming, no one's happy. We do it for them. Whatever it is it needs doing, we just do it. Once you've done step 1 and step 2 and things still aren't moving, you may need to intervene then. But we do not intervene until we have done step 1 and step 2. Because most times you'll find if you can successfully do step 1 and 2, you won't need to intervene. And then abort, intervene or abort. Well, sometimes we do need to abort mission. Think to yourself, is what I am trying to get done right now essential? Okay, so if it's putting on the shoes, do we have to do it right now? If it's brushing the hair, Do we have to do it right now? Or would it be easier to just abort mission? Do I need to do the groceries right now? Or can I do it later? Sometimes it's a better option just to not do it, to abort mission. Because if you have tried step 1 and step 2, nothing's working, everyone is still emotionally upset, frustrated with each other, tempers are rising, you're starting to get exhausted, anxiety levels are going up, then the elevated emotional state often is not worth getting done whatever it is you're trying to get done. Now, there's some things we just can't abort mission on, like going to school or going to work. So this is our very last option. These 3 steps work. When you do them in the right order and do them every time, they work. This is science, this is neuroscience, this is the stuff that brains like. Everything I teach people to do is stuff that the brain loves. Because when the brain is happy, everything happens so much easier. It's not about solving behaviors. I don't focus on behaviors. I focus on supporting the brain. It is always the brain that controls the behaviors. So it is always the brain that we should be supporting and thinking about. I tell all my clients, everyone who comes to the workshop, I say, stop thinking about your child as a child and start thinking of them as a brain. Okay, when you start getting involved in their behaviors and thinking, we just need to get them sleeping at night, we just need to get this, we just need to stop them running away from school, we just need to get them to be able to engage in something and focus. When you start thinking of your child as a set of behaviors, stop yourself, start thinking of them as a brain, because it is their brain that is making them do all those things. When the brain functions at its best, it is always going to be easier for you and your children to do the things that you want to do. Effective time-space switching, creating calm, and intervening or aborting. That is the 3-step process. That is the 3-step process, and it's going to work, but it's going to work even better if you show this video to your partner. That other person in your life, show this video to them, because you need to be doing this 3-step process every time. If you do these 3 steps every time, the process of getting the thing done is going to be easier. The more often the thing gets done as easily as possible, the quicker your child's neural pathways telling them to do that thing will strengthen. That's what it's about. It's neuroscience. Getting stuff done day after day after day after day strengthens the neural pathway in their brain that wants them to get that thing done. And you will find over time that they're able to just pick up their stuff, walk to the car and hop in. Thank goodness. Good luck. Please stick to it. You are going to find it challenging because we don't want to be thinking about space. We want to be rushing. We want to be telling everyone to hurry up because that's what we've always done. That's how we're conditioned to think and behave. So the biggest part of this is going to be you changing how you think and how you respond to how you think. Good luck. I wish you all the best, and please stick at this because it will work. Okay, see ya. This is something that we talk about at length in the Brains Equal Behaviours workshop, which is touring Australia. It's a 2-day workshop and it's filled with stuff like this that is going to change your lives and your children's lives. Check out the tour schedule for 2017, and if Brains Equals Behaviours is coming to a town near you, and if you or your children experience sensory overload, heightened anxiety, social angst, problems with attention and focus and engagement, then maybe this is a workshop you should be coming along to. I would love to have you there.